She sat on the defendant's bench with a chilling composure, a serenity only someone who had studied death for years through the lens of a forensic camera could maintain. In her cold, almost calculating gaze, there wasn't a hint of remorse, only the certainty of an expert who believed that the perfect crime could be calculated like a laboratory algorithm. The entire courtroom held its breath, anticipating the moment when the mask of a devoted friend would finally slip, revealing the face of the one who had turned boundless trust into a death sentence, and the silence of a farm field into a concrete grave. This story begins with a shocking realization that can shatter anyone's life. Imagine a man who, for years, upheld the law, believed in justice, and thought he knew his significant other better than he knew himself. Zachary McArthur, a former police officer, found himself at the epicenter of a nightmare he couldn't have predicted, even in the darkest scenarios of his professional career. When he was informed that his wife, Ashley, had been arrested on suspicion of murdering their close mutual friend, his world didn't just shake, it ceased to exist. Ashley was no ordinary person. She was a former crime scene investigator, CSI. She possessed unique knowledge of how the forensic machine operates, how evidence is collected, how blood is analyzed, and how criminals make mistakes. She knew how to conceal what shouldn't be found. And it was this terrifying set of skills that made her the ideal suspect and, ultimately, Taylor Wright's most dangerous enemy.
I mean, it's my wife, you know? I love her very much.
How well do you trust Ashley?
I don't trust her at all.
You don't trust her with your freedom?
No, hell no. I catch her in too many lies.
Ashley McArthur began her machinations long before the fatal shot was fired. She masterfully manipulated information, crafting an image of Taylor as a woman utterly entangled in her problems, drugs, and dubious connections. She convinced everyone around her that Taylor had simply run away from responsibility, abandoning everything and everyone. But was this true? Or had Ashley herself tightened the noose around her best friend's neck, exploiting her vulnerability and trust? The truth revealed during the investigation turned out to be far more chilling than any rumor. Taylor Wright disappeared on September 14, 2017. The alarm was officially raised when she failed to appear for an important court hearing. At this time, Taylor was in the midst of an exhausting battle with her ex-husband, Jeff. At stake were not only vast sums of money that she had allegedly embezzled from their joint account, but also the right to raise their young son, Drake. To understand the scale of the tragedy, one must look into Taylor's past. She was born on April 23, 1984, in sunny Florida, but her path to adulthood was thorny. When Taylor was just 13 years old, her life spiraled into chaos. Child Protective Services removed her from her family, and she ended up in foster care. It was then that the Murchison family from North Carolina entered her life. Nancy Murchison, a mother of 2 sons, had always dreamed of having a daughter. When her son John befriended Taylor, Nancy saw in this lonely girl the very daughter she had never had.
So he came to me and said, Mom, she's gonna run away, and you know what happens to kids that run away? They end up on the streets and things bad will happen, and can she come and stay with us?
Nancy saved Taylor from a life on the streets. She opened her home to her, taught her to write ups, wanting him to see the world in all its multifaceted glory. But her desire for independence and dislike of rigid boundaries led her to leave the police force in 2013 and become a private investigator. However, Taylor's personal life began to crumble. By 2015, her marriage to Jeff Wright had come to an end. The divorce was cynical and cruel. Jeff suspected her of infidelity, and soon a woman did indeed move into Taylor's home. The main stumbling block was Drake. By the summer of 2016, the custody battle had turned ugly. Taylor made mistakes. She attacked her ex-husband, placed trackers on his car, and conducted hidden financial dealings to avoid paying alimony. Ultimately, on December 30th, 2016, the court granted full custody to Jeff. Taylor was crushed, but not willing to give up. She moved to Pensacola, hoping to start fresh. In April of 2017, Taylor met Cassandra Waller through a dating app. Cassandra was a respected school administrator, and their connection was instant and deep. Taylor felt as though she had finally found a safe harbor, but the shadows of the past haunted her. To fund the fight for her son, Taylor made a fatal mistake. She secretly withdrew over $100,000 from a joint account with Jeff, which had been temporarily unfrozen. To hide this money from the law and her ex-husband, she turned to someone she trusted implicitly, Ashley McArthur. Ashley was her colleague in the private investigation, business, and a friend. Taylor handed her a cashier's check for $34,000, asking Ashley to hide it in her safe deposit box. Ashley McArthur was a complex individual. She was born in 1977 to a family of successful entertainment entrepreneurs. After receiving a forensic science education in 2001, she worked as a CSI expert but left the service after a back injury. Together with her husband Zachary, they opened a detective agency, but it didn't generate the desired income. Ashley was accustomed to a lavish lifestyle, and her appetites grew faster than their earnings. Zachary, being a simple and honest man, completely entrusted her with their finances, unaware that his wife was playing a double game. When the court ordered Taylor to return the money to the joint account, she turned to Ashley. But Ashley had already spent those $34,000 on paying off her debts and buying expensive items. To conceal the theft, Ashley began to weave a web of lies. She convinced Cassandra that Taylor was using cocaine and cheating on her.
My understanding was that she had kind of a long-term relationship with this girl in Biloxi. Taylor has always had like a fingerprint thing and a code in her phone.
Mm-hmm.
She let Cass put her fingerprints and stuff in her phone and gave her the codes to her phone.
She can access it with her own
Right.
fingerprint.
At first, the police considered the possibility of a runaway. Taylor was in the midst of a grueling divorce from Jeff Wright, fighting for every penny and, more importantly, custody of their son Drake. However, Cassandra Waller, Taylor's new lover, knew that her friend would never abandon her son. Cassandra was the last person to see Taylor on that fateful morning of September 8th when she left to meet her best friend Ashley McArthur.
She made me like eggs and bacon and stuff, and she was in no hurry for anything. You know, just like a normal morning. I said, well, I'll go to the grocery store. I'll pick up some stuff. We'll have wings tonight. And that was that. She was like, okay, well, Ash is coming over. We're going to go to Ash's bank, and we're going to pick up my money and stuff out of the safety deposit box. So as I was getting in my car, Ash had pulled up, and I was like, all right, you know, we hugged, we kissed.
Cassandra's account paints a picture of a normal, almost idyllic morning, and us. Taylor did not appear to be someone who was about to disappear, end quote. She was planning dinner, preparing breakfast, and simply intended to collect her money, $34,000, that she had entrusted to Ashley McArthur for safekeeping in a safe deposit box. It was a cashier's check, part of the money Taylor had secretly withdrawn from a joint account with her ex-husband in an attempt to hide it from the division of property. She trusted Ashley. After all, Ashley was a former CSI criminal investigator, and her husband Zachary was a former police officer. Who could be more reliable? When Taylor didn't return for dinner, Cassandra began to panic. She called Ashley, who gave her a story that seemed plausible at first. Taylor was upset, took her purse with her money, and left in an Uber to clear her head and have a drink. But days passed, and Taylor did not get in touch. The Pensacola police began questioning those around her. According to statistics, partners are always the first suspects. Detectives began to pressure Cassandra, testing her resolve.
Do you think Ashley would have the capability or the means to harm Taylor?
I don't know that well. I can't answer that. I don't know.
Cassandra's brief reply betrays her confusion. She does not yet understand that the woman with whom she has just had lunch and discussed the search for Taylor has already turned their mutual friend into a memory. Ashley McArthur was a master manipulator. To divert suspicion away from herself, she began methodically destroying Taylor's reputation in the eyes of the investigation. She painted a picture of an unstable woman who used cocaine, had promiscuous relationships, and was willing to do anything for money.
Kind of confusing because sometimes she would tell us that she was going to date guys, and then the next thing you know, she'd be with a girl. So we kind of didn't know, like, where she was at any given point. Zach and Jess are friends, so it wasn't like she was trying to hide the girl side of that from us, because, I mean, we knew about her, and And she would tell us, she told us about the guys that she was with. I think one of her trips to Vegas, she went with a guy.
Ashley tried to create a stir by feeding the police false leads about Taylor's personal life. She knew how cops worked. If the victim looked troubled, her disappearance would not be investigated as thoroughly. She mentioned trips to Vegas, uncertainty about her sexual orientation, anything that could make Taylor look like a reckless runaway. But there was one detail that only Cassandra noticed: Taylor's phone.
I only knew her to have one phone. Until that Friday, I saw a different phone. And the only reason I saw it is noticed it, because it had the exact same case that her other phone did. But she had one plugged in, and then I saw her on the other one.
Having a second phone is a classic sign of a double life. Taylor, being a private investigator, knew the importance of confidentiality. But Ashley used this fact to reinforce the legend of her friend's crooked path. During interrogations, she continued to drive the point home, talking about Taylor's drug addiction.
She was, in fact, that day that all that happened, she was like, I felt bad for Cass, but it hurt me that I lied to you about the drugs and whatever else. And I'm like, well, that's not anything that you can't fix. I mean, you did drugs a couple times, okay, it's bad, but the only thing I worry about is with the drug situation. Like, I wouldn't even, if I didn't know about the drug situation, I wouldn't be worried about her. I would say Taylor's doing what Taylor does. Maybe the drug issue is where she's going with the jail thing.
Taylor does what Taylor does. This phrase became Ashley's defense strategy. She tried to convince detectives that Taylor was simply hiding from court and prison by using drugs. Ashley played the role of a caring friend who covered up Taylor's sins, but her own financial situation was dire. She had been stealing from customers of her family's jukebox installation business for years, and Taylor's $34,000 was a lifeline for her. When Taylor demanded it back, Ashley realized the safe deposit box was empty.
In the Wells Fargo out in Bellevue.
I have.
Okay. Have you ever had a safe deposit box there?
No.
The key point in the investigation was the notorious safe deposit box at Wells Fargo Bank. Taylor was sure that her money was there. Ashley claimed the same thing. But when detectives began checking bank records, the reality turned out to be different. Ashley's direct denial during questioning was the first serious crack in her alibi. If there was no cell, then where was the money? And why did Ashley lie to her friend for months? To explain Taylor's absence from the bank security camera footage, Ashley made up a story about a tactical bag that Taylor allegedly took from the car.
And I don't know why she wanted to make it seem like she had a safety deposit box.
That's what's very peculiar to me. That's why I'm asking these questions, because it's come out that there was a safety deposit box apparently in your name.
Taylor went inside. She said she needed to get some papers. And that's, I think, when she got her other bag. And she brought a couple, boxes out to the truck.
So she went and got a bag. What was in the bag? When you say a bag, like a garbage bag or duffel bag?
No, like a little, sort of like a tactical bag.
Shady stuff. Ashley used this term constantly. She tried to convince the police that Taylor was the criminal and Ashley was just a passive observer. But Taylor's behavior that morning, according to Ashley, was provocative. She even allegedly drank beer first thing in the morning.
And of course the story that I get is a very sob story about how Jeff's taken all this money and he took all this stuff from her, and now she's just, trying to hide it and move it and do all kind of just shady stuff with it. And, she's overinflating credit cards and stuff, putting extra money on credit cards. She was on the phone, and I went in the store, got a drink, and got her another beer.
How much had she been drinking that day?
She had a Yeti type cup thing full of beer.
I mean, was she intoxicated?
She didn't seem to be. But I mean, I don't drink at 10 o'clock in the morning either, so I don't.
Sure. Have you ever seen her drinking at that time of day before?
No.
So it was odd behavior.
And in fact, I said something to her. I was like, beer at this time of the morning? She was like, well, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. I'm like...
It's a perfect response. He called you. She normally contacted you on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you keep records in your phone? Do you like commonly delete numbers that called you?
No, it's whatever's there. I think iPhones keep like 30 days or whatever of whatever's available.
In the past 30 days or longer, if we're able to pull more, do you think that she could have possibly contacted you from that other number?
The farm in Milton was a place Ashley referred to as a rest stop. She claimed that she and Taylor simply rode horses there. To reinforce the idea that Taylor could have left with anyone, Ashley compiled a list of her romantic interests.
Do you mind if we what's it called? Dump the phone?
Forensically examine your phone.
Yeah.
Just basically just dumps the phone, and we can see the numbers that are calling. We don't look at anything. I don't know if like most, but there may be embarrassing picture there. We're not worried about that.
Yeah, we're not concerned about that.
It's all professional. We're looking for one thing. We're trying to find Taylor. Is what we're trying to do.
Oh yeah, I don't mind.
You don't mind?
No.
Okay. Let me get you. We just got to sign a form that you don't mind.
You went and took this scenic highway north, and then from there you went to the farm.
Right.
The farm is where?
It's off of Highway 90 in Milton.
And that's the address you provided me.
Right.
And who owns that farm?
My aunt and with Jessica Wood. Those two guys that she said, you showed me the pictures of or whatever. Cass. A doctor.
What was the doctor? Was he or she?
It's a she. And some other girl from South Florida. So that's like 7 people that I've known her to like date or be with whatever in the past year.
It was the moment of truth. GPS technology showed that Ashley McArthur had physically possessed Taylor's phone after her disappearance. She herself sent messages to Cassandra, imitating Taylor's style. When the mask began to crack, Ashley did what everyone who knows the system from the inside does.
The thing is we know that you had knowledge that phone was there because a text was sent to your phone from that phone, and it was in your possession. It was at the same location. So either Taylor was sitting in your bedroom with you, right, texting you, and you somehow didn't know, and then stayed in your car with you and communicated with other individuals the entire next day, all the way out to the wedding. When this wedding was hiding in your car, there's no way humanly possible that you didn't have knowledge of the phone.
Don't let us tell your story, because this is gonna tell us what happened. Don't let us tell something that may not be true. Tell us what happened.
I think at this point I need an attorney because it seems to me that y'all think that I did something to her.
While Ashley was looking for a lawyer, the police began questioning her husband, Zachary McArthur. His testimony was key to understanding the financial motives and how Ashley had used the family's resources. Zachary was devastated. He couldn't believe his wife was a murderer, but the facts spoke for themselves.
Do you know anything about this money that Taylor had given you all?
No, absolutely not. She's never given me anything. Absolutely, but I mean, I've read in the online or whatever what you're talking about. No, I've never got anything like from that. No.
Okay. Do you know anything about your finances?
No, to be honest, I give her when I work a case or and I got a settlement from my attorney, I hand it straight to Ash. She takes care of everything.
Is there any indication that you guys are in financial trouble?
No, I thought I'm living off my the settlement I just got, and plus she works every day. I mean, I haven't worked in a few months doing the PI stuff, but I didn't know you had any financial problems at all. The last time I went out there is when I traded my four-wheeler for a side-by-side, and that's the last time I've been. Before that, I couldn't tell you.
When was that?
A couple months back.
Do you think that it would have been before this happened or after?
Probably before. Probably before.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you know anything about a trailer
I've got
out there?
a little bitty trailer that is my side-by-side wouldn't fit on it, so I just left it out there. I was going to get her cousin to maybe replace the wood on it or whatever.
Okay, now her cousin Kyle?
Yeah.
Do you know him?
Not very well, no.
Have you met him a few times?
Yeah. I mean, I've been around him. He's come over to the house, and we went to a wedding out there, I don't know, beginning of summer, whenever his brother got better. But that's it.
So how often do you think that she would go out there, if you just had to guess?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Do you remember the last time that you knew she was up there?
I know she had to bring me a key to get in the gate to get my four-wheeler out when I traded with that guy.
Do you know a friend named Audrey?
Yeah, that's Ash's friend.
And do you know how she knows Audrey?
From the pool hall.
Have you ever met her before?
Yeah.
Did she come to your house? Or
She's come over a few times with Ash.
would you say that they're close friends?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you spoken to Audrey at all since all this happened?
No.
Who else does she hang out with at that pool hall?
Jessica, I've heard her. Jessica and the guy that owns it's Brandon, and she and him kind of hooked up back in. We kind of had an open relationship. I'm sure you already know that.
I catch her in too many lies. When a husband says this about his wife, a criminal investigator, things take a nasty turn. Zachary began to realize that Ashley was capable of anything. Brandon, her lover, also did not believe Taylor's escape story. Brandon tells the detectives bluntly, Ashley's story doesn't make sense. He felt that something more sinister was hidden behind the words about the escape, and that sinister thing materialized on the 19th of October 2017, when a body was found on the Britt Road farm. It was buried under a layer of concrete, wrapped in a hammock. Taylor had been shot.
How well do you trust Ashley?
I don't trust her at all.
You don't trust her with your freedom?
No, hell no. I catch her in too many lies.
Her feelings on all this missing person and her talking to you, what's your thoughts?
There's more to the story. I don't know. She's point blank said they are not going to find her. She took that money and left.
What do you think about that?
Don't make no sense. The girl ain't gonna leave her kid.
Rumors spread through Pensacola even before the official announcement. Death by gunshot was direct evidence of violence, not the overdose Ashley had hoped for. Zachary was devastated. It's just careless was what struck Zachary the most. He knew Ashley as a brilliant CSI specialist, someone who knew how to hide evidence. The fact that she buried the body on her family's property and bought concrete at a local store under surveillance cameras seemed like the height of stupidity to him. But that was Ashley's mistake. She thought she was smarter than the system. She believed that her status and knowledge would make her untouchable.
Taylor died.
Ackerman told me that the girl was shot, and he heard that from Mulchan.
So Ackerman told you, and he got it from Mulchan?
Yeah.
Okay. Did he elaborate on anything else?
He just said that they thought the girl was shot.
Okay.
I can't see her doing something like that. I mean, she's super intelligent. She's got a criminal.
Master's degree.
Yeah, or is it master's or I don't know, one of the two. And that's just sloppy. I mean, that's sloppy shit. That's sloppy. I can't see her doing that. It's super sloppy.
On March 15th, 2018, Ashley McArthur was arrested. She was charged with first-degree premeditated murder and fraud. The news rocked Pensacola. A former forensic scientist from a respected family, no one could believe she was capable of such a thing. Ashley was released on bail, awaiting trial, while her lawyers continued to insist, the evidence is circumstantial, there's no weapon. The trial began in September of 2019. Ashley still maintained her icy composure, taking notes and occasionally smiling at her defense attorneys. But witness testimonies began to paint a darker picture. Dr. Audrey Warner stated that she had suspected Ashley of criminal intent even before the incident with Taylor.
Sounds like you're saying that conversation that Ashley put something in a beer to potentially try to kill someone. Is that correct?
Cassandra Waller, in her testimony, described Taylor's growing despair in the final weeks of her life.
Conversation of Taylor, right, looking at Ashley McArthur saying, "Give me my money. I want my money." Nothing like that, right?
No.
There was no, "Why are you stealing my money?"
No.
There was no, "Why don't you give me my money?"
No.
There was no, why are you making it so difficult for me to get my money?
There was that.
She said that.
Not in those words.
Okay.
The prosecution built its case brick by brick: phone records, receipts for concrete purchases, financial motive, ballistics. The defense tried to cast doubt on the accuracy of the geolocation and claimed that anyone could have had access to the site. They even nitpicked the texture of the concrete.
Here's the kicker, and I'm going to talk about this first. The concrete, right here. You have photographs. She put one of them up on the screen, a big one, and you saw the concrete. The concrete had pebbles or rocks like in it, little round stones, which concrete has that you're using on a sidewalk or paving or something like that. If any of you work with concrete, that concrete was rough concrete. And Ms. Jensen, after Devontae Sims had testified about Ms. McArthur coming in and purchased concrete, she said, oh, he purchased a 50-pound bag, a 40-pound bag. She purchased 2 bags of soil. She got back up on redirect and says, what was the texture of that?
The trial lasted a week. On the 26th of September 2019, shortly before 7:30 p.m., the jury returned with a verdict: guilty of first-degree, premeditated murder.
Circuit Court is reconvened. You may be seated, maintain order.
All right, we're back on the record. State of Florida versus Ashley McArthur, 17 CF 5844. Defendant is present with counsel. Assistant State Attorney is present. My understanding is we have a verdict. Anything from the state? Anything, Mr. Barry Barras?
No, Your Honor.
John Barras?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Let me talk to everybody in the audience. Somebody out there is going to be unhappy. I don't know what the verdict is. But if there are people here, I know there are some family members and friends for Ms. McArthur, and presume that there are family members and friends for Taylor Wright. And I don't know, as I said, we're going to know in 5 minutes or less what the verdict is. But let's talk about your reactions. You may not be happy, but it's not a complete surprise whatever the verdict is. If there is anyone who is going to audibly react, then you need to go ahead and quietly step out now. You need to assume that it's the verdict you do not want. And if you think you would react, you need to step out now. I do not want this jury, who has been, as far as I can tell, a tremendous jury as far as attention and their willingness to serve and being on time, to feel any pressure from reactions from people in the crowd. Not to mention, I have the power of contempt over you. And that's not my goal today, is to hold people in contempt. But I do not want you reacting. Once you hear the verdict, if you decide you might be getting emotional, then you can quietly get up and quietly leave. Don't slam any doors. Don't outburst right outside the door. Does everybody understand the rules? This is very important. Okay. Having said that, let's bring the jury in. Do you have a pen on it?
Judge Nobles proved herself a master of courtroom management. She understood that 2 families sat in the room. One had lost a daughter, the other now faced losing a loved one forever. The judge acted preemptively, sternly reminding everyone about the power of contempt of court. Her primary goal was to protect the jury from any psychological pressure or feelings of guilt that tears or shouts from those present might cause. This was a crucial procedural point. The verdict had to be reached in an atmosphere of strict law, not emotional chaos.
All right, and everybody may have a seat, and for the record, defendant is present with counsel. Assistant State Attorney is present. Are you Mr.? No. Who's my foreperson? Who's got the? Mr. Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Were y'all able to reach a verdict?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all I want you to do is to hand it to court security, okay? Thank you. I'm going to hand it to the clerk to publish.
Yes. In the Circuit Court in and for Escambia County, Florida, State of Florida versus Ashley Britt McArthur, case number 1717CF005844A. Verdict as to the charge in count 1, we the jury find the defendant Ashley McArthur guilty of first-degree premeditated murder with a firearm as charged in the indictment. So say we all. David A. Faust, foreperson, dated August 30th, 2019.
Mr. Barry Barassa, do you want the clerk to poll the jury?
This is the culmination of the entire case, when the words guilty of first-degree premeditated murder are pronounced. Ashley McArthur's fate is definitively sealed. The premeditated qualifier means that the jury believed the prosecution's version. Ashley didn't just accidentally shoot her friend. She planned the murder in advance, bought concrete, and prepared the grave. The presence of a firearm in the verdict automatically entails a harsher sentence under Florida law. Ashley, at this moment, remains motionless, maintaining her Ice Lady facade.
All right, Renee's going to ask y'all each a question, okay?
Is this your individual verdict as well as the verdict of the jury as a whole?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Is this your verdict?
Yes, it is.
Is this your verdict?
Yes, it is.
Is this your verdict? Is
Yes,
this your
it is.
verdict? Is this your verdict?
Yes, it is.
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 Is this your verdict?
Yes.
Is this your verdict?
Yes, it is.
Is this your verdict?
it is.
All right, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I always thank my juries, but I've been praising you all week, and that's sincere. I made a big deal on Monday about jury duty being service to your country, and it really is. Y'all came in on Monday, thought you might or might not be picked. The next thing you know, Monday afternoon, you're in a 5-day trial. I appreciate the fact that every day, 15 people got here early or on time so we could start on time. I appreciate the fact that y'all took notes and paid close attention. When I asked you one night if we could stay past 6, you were willing to do it so that we could stay on track. And I appreciate the careful deliberation you gave to the case. So you really have been an outstanding jury, and your participation does you credit. And like I said, this is civil service. This is serving your country, and it's one of, I've said, two most important duties that you can perform in peacetime, and we couldn't have done it without you. It's been a difficult case, and y'all kept a good attitude throughout. A couple things, and I'm going to let y'all go. Court security is going to see y'all to your cars. This does count as your jury service for at least a year. So if we call you or write you and it's been less than a year, then you can call back and say you were with me and remind them, and you don't have to be here. Let's talk about some of the right that you have not to talk about the case. No one can make you talk about this case or your thoughts and impressions or what you said or anything. You're free now to go home, and you're free now if you want to talk about the case, you can. If you want to go to live streaming sites or Google anything, you're released from all of that. That's up to you. If you choose, that's your choice, but no one can make you. And if you choose to say nothing, that's fine. I do always reintroduce the attorneys because I occasionally, when I was a practicing attorney, would have a juror call me, and I found what they had to say helpful. If you want to, if you should bump into the attorneys somewhere out in public, they would never come to you, other than they might wave or something, but they would never come up to you and try to ask you questions or put you under pressure. But if you want to reach out, you can. Bridget Jensen works for Bill Edens, your elected state attorney. Bill Edens' number is in the blue pages. Barry Barassa works for, or is the name person in Barassa and Keene. They have a big house on 9th Avenue that's their business. John Barassa, his son, I believe is on Government Street, has his own law firm. So if you want to, you can. At any rate, thank you, and that's mostly what I can say.
I told you I felt like you were my people. You have been my people. And I'm going to get y'all checked out. I want y'all to be safe out there. Keep monitoring the storm if it should come into the Gulf. I hope that another day, another time, in a year or two, I might see one or two of you again on another case. But for today, you are free to go. Thank you.
The procedure of polling the jury is necessary to ensure that each individual juror was not pressured within the deliberation room. Each must orally confirm their decision. Judge Nobles calls the jurors "my people," emphasizing the importance of their civic duty. It's interesting that she mentions the approaching storm, Hurricane Dorian, advising them to be careful. This reminds us that life outside the courtroom continues, despite the drama unfolding inside.
Have a seat. Ms. Jensen, any reason we cannot move to sentencing?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Barry Barossett.
No, Your Honor, there's only one sentence the court can impose.
Okay. Ms. Jensen, anything you want to say before I impose sentence?
Judge, I do have the aunt of Taylor Wright that would like to be heard before the court imposes sentence. I understand it's a mandatory sentence, but she would like to be heard.
Sure. If you want to maybe turn the podium. And my understanding is we don't have to have a score sheet because there is only one sentence which can be imposed.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, ma'am, let's start with this. Raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth? If so, say I do.
I do.
Okay.
Please state your name, please.
Joan Goldstein Huskins Parker.
And Ms. Huskins Parker, what was your relationship to Taylor Wright?
I was Taylor's aunt.
And is there something you want to say to the court before she imposes sentence?
Yes, I do want to say that, and I know this is, that I was there when Taylor came into this world, and I'm here today. And I just wanted you to know that our family has lost so much. A piece of our tree of life is gone. We will never get it back. For us, this is just closing some of the book for the legal, but it doesn't close the book for all the loss. For myself, her father, her stepmother, my husband, my children, my grandchildren, her son, everybody. And that Taylor was taken too early, and she was not taken through an act of God or through illness. She was taken through human behavior that was very cruel. And I could go on, but it's just such a tragic story. But I wanted to thank you, and I'm glad that we came to this decision today.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Barry Barossett, do you or does Ms. McArthur want to say anything before I impose sentence?
Judge, the only thing I would offer in the court, just run this sentence concurrent with her other sentences she's already been sentenced to. That's it.
The floor is given to Joan Goldstein Haskins Parker, Taylor's aunt. This is a victim impact statement. Her words about the tree of life, from which a branch was cut, pierce the cold atmosphere of legal terms. She makes an important point. Taylor's death was not an accident or an act of God. It was the result of extremely cruel human behavior. This is a final reminder to the judge and Ashley that behind the dry statistics is a living person who has a son who will never see his mother again.
Okay, I just need all of you to stand. And Ms. McArthur, I'm going to ask you one question. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth? If so, say I do. Okay. Ms. McArthur, I want to make sure that I ask you personally, do you want to say anything to the court? Okay. All right, then, Ashley McArthur, having been found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt by a jury of your peers of first-degree premeditated murder with a firearm, I am going to adjudicate you guilty. I'm going to sentence you to life with a mandatory minimum 25 years state prison for the firearm. That will be with credit for
327 days.
327 days. That will run concurrent with any other sentence that you are serving. I assume it's $518 fines and costs. Are there any other fines and costs? And anything else the state other than the 30 days? All right, and you have 30 days. The 518 will be reduced to a lien. And you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court. If you cannot afford to hire an attorney, one will be appointed for you. I wish you good luck. While they're fingerprinting Ms. McArthur, everybody who has remained has been cooperative, but as everyone is parting into the hallway, please, again, there's been enough upset and tragedy and horrible circumstances. Don't add to the situation by getting out in the hall and getting in some sort of back and forth with somebody on the other side of the case. Everybody just needs to go their own way and leave it at that, okay? As soon as I sign the fingerprint card, then I'll be done. Anything else from the state? Barry Barasset?
Your Honor, when do you expect to enter the judgment? We've got 30 days from the date of the judgment set.
Is it going to be entered today?
Yes, ma'am, we can do it today.
Or Monday, I was curious.
Do we need to do it today?
We don't have to.
We can do it Tuesday then.
Okay.
I'll have them walk it up to me Tuesday or bring it to court Tuesday, and that way the clock starts running Tuesday if that's better.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I'll do. Thank you. All right, and with that, all court business is finished.
Ashley McArthur declines to make a final statement. This is her right, but in the context of the case, it appears as a lack of remorse. The judge delivers the only sentence legally possible for such a crime life imprisonment. The 25-year mandatory minimum is a technical detail related to the use of a weapon, guaranteeing that Ashley will not be released before this period under any circumstances. Although life in Florida almost always means no parole. The judge concludes the proceedings by asking the parties to disperse peacefully to avoid further tragedies in the courthouse hallways. The verdict and sentence in the Ashley McArthur case drew a line under one of the most cynical stories of betrayal in Pensacola's history. Ashley, who used her forensic knowledge to conceal the body of her best friend, failed to outsmart the very system she was once a part of. The court hearing demonstrated the triumph of classical justice, meticulous adherence to procedures, respect for the jury, and an opportunity for the victim's family to be heard. The life sentence for Ashley McArthur was a logical conclusion to a case where greed vanquished friendship and professional skills served evil. Taylor Wright did not return home, but her killer will spend the rest of her days behind the very bars she once helped send criminals to. The woman who spent years helping solve crimes became a criminal herself. Her knowledge of evidence became the very tool that exposed her. Ashley McArthur is currently serving her sentence in a Florida state prison. All her appeals have been denied. Taylor Wright's family continues to fight for the rights of victims of financial crimes. The $34,000 were never found.